For this week's Gotcha, I'm taking aim at the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. Instead of taking his cues from his predecessors and fading quietly into post-presidency life, Donald Trump has spent every day since his election defeat whining and lying. And this week, he announced a series of lawsuits that portray both the depth of his sore loser syndrome and his complete misunderstanding of the very Constitution he swore to protect and defend when he was president. Trump has filed a suit against Facebook, Twitter, and Google for their actions in banning him from their platforms. The former president's suits allege First Amendment violations, and he's demanding unspecified punitive damages for both himself and other unlisted plaintiffs. They would make up the class in this class action lawsuit. There are many problems with these lawsuits, but let's start with the most obvious one. It's clear that neither Trump nor his lawyers have actually read the First Amendment, so I put it on the screen behind me. See the highlighted portions where it says Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech? Since I don't remember the CEOs of Facebook, Twitter, or Google being elected to any public office, they remain private entities, allowed to decide what kind of content they want to host on their platforms, which means they were actually fully within their rights to ban Trump for violating their respective terms of service. In this case, the prohibition of inciting violence. And that's not straightforward enough for you. Maybe it's not straightforward enough for this man. So this suit seeks to portray companies as, quote, state actors that are doing the bidding of the government and therefore bound by the First Amendment. But don't let this legalese here confuse you. Trump was president when he was banned by big tech. So if they were working with the government, they were working with him. Legal experts agree these Lewis Trump lawsuits are without merit and doomed to fail. And there's a lot of history that suggests Trump knows that also. Even when you leave out election-related litigation, Donald Trump has threatened to sue dozens of people, companies, and even nation-states over the last 6 years. And most of those threats turned out to be empty. Of the 10 he actually filed, half of them were dropped or dismissed. I'd also like to warn any unnamed co-plaintiffs on these lawsuits. A class action suit allows for any monetary damages to be divvied up between class members, starting with the lead plaintiff. So I'd like to levy a gentle reminder to any regular Americans tempted to join Donald Trump in his ridiculous crusade, that this man has a long history of refusing to pay his debts. If this ill-considered gambit defies all odds and ends up with monetary compensation, he's unlikely to share it equitably. Finally, to Mr. Trump, we are not fooled by your flimsy lawsuits. We know they are just the latest version of your big lie, a series of doomed and desperate ventures you've embarked upon since the election to deny your defeat and bilk money out of the pockets of your most fervent supporters. And when these lawsuits are thrown out, like so many of the others, you'll just continue your long streak as the thing you despise most, a loser. I got you.